Hello, how are you?
Very well.
Am I one of the first?
You are the first.
The first.
The
Um,
first.
20 minutes ago, Andre phoned me and he's asked, and I see that the call is recorded because he can't join us today. Um, Prior arrangements with grandchildren. So if you could please just share the link with everybody after the call, I would appreciate it.
We can do that. I'll just stick it in the normal place
Yes.
so everybody can access. Okay, cool. Here we go. Non-tobacco, how are you? I'm not sure if there's connection. Let me just.
Can you hear me?
There you go. We can hear you now. Yes. How's it?
I'm good, thanks. I'm good, thanks, James. Yeah. And, hi, everyone.
Hello, hello.
Yeah.
Don, how are you?
Yeah.
Oh, good, thanks.
Okay.
Very excited for the day session. Yay.
Okay. Have you guys all got your sales navigator set up?
I'm using a client's navigator, so for some reason I can't get access to it. I don't know why, but I'll give it time. Maybe LinkedIn will be nice and give me access later on. I don't know. But right now I'm using a client's, so I need to learn everything that I can possibly. Okay, Vinny, sorry. My son says hello.
Hello. Yeah, so if you have taken a trial or have paid for any LinkedIn product, not necessarily Sales Navigator, in the last 12 months, then they don't allow you to have the trial. But as soon as those 12 months elapse, they'll give it to you again.
Okay.
They're weird like that. But yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I shall wait and be patient. I am good that way.
But anyway, but at least you have it to play with. So, Darwin, have you got it?
Pranita sent me 2 months. I have it through her. So
Have
yeah.
you activated it, or are you?
I'm activating it. I'm using it. I'm getting confused by it, but hey, we'll
Okay, good stuff. Non-tobacco, how about you? Have you got it? Are you using it?
Yeah, like I told you, man, I started after a week after our session. So I've been using it for a month.
Okay.
So when I got a communication from Sales Navigator talking about my last month, I thought, oh my goodness, yeah, I need this training because this is soon going to run out. But I think, like Devin says, at the beginning, I mean, it was very difficult. At least there are a few things I'm able to do now, but I know it's not optimal use.
Okay. So let me talk you guys through the basics. Let's just get onto Sales Navigator. Oh, maybe I shall share a screen. Let's start there. So obviously, if you're in LinkedIn and you have Sales Navigator, you'll know because you've got the little Sales Navigator icon up here. Then you can click on it. If you don't, then the URL is linkedin.com/sales. That will get you to Sales Navigator. The home screen looks like this, where they give you this irritating pop-up with notifications, and then it looks kind of like this. And when you look at it, there's a couple of things that are important. So you'll see right away that there's 2 different options. So again, this is like your first major point of departure, where you have what we call lead filters, which are people. These are our personal profiles. And then you have account filters, which are companies. Okay. So typically, most of us will go into LinkedIn and we'll click on lead filters. And then this is the screen that you see. Let's just do a similar example. Let's just say accountants. Right. So if I type accountant, obviously in LinkedIn, the easiest way to activate the filters is just to type something and click enter. And then obviously, as we discussed a while ago, you've got all of these different options, but obviously the one that we want is people, right? So this people filter is essentially the same thing as going on to Sales Navigator and typing accountant. into this search box, and you will see that over here we have apparently 9.1 million results, and on Sales Navigator 12 million plus, right? So immediately you'll start to see that you will have access to a lot more information on Sales Navigator than you will on LinkedIn, right? It's just you pay, we give you more. That's just how the world works. LinkedIn are no different. So when we go ahead and we create this, you can have a look and you'll see when we go into all filters, that's what you have on LinkedIn, right? So you've got the connections, the locations, if you know the companies that they work at, which is typically not something we do, connections of, show you what that looks like just now. Followers, these are for people that are posting content. Here's the past company. So again, current company, past company, very seldom would we use that. School means university, essentially. Then industry, that's one of the common filters. Profile language, for South Africans, the only one that matters is English, so this is useless. And then open to, if people have got anything specific that they've voted on. So in this case, if you want to know who's open to volunteering, probably none of us. And then the different service categories, that helps. And then obviously keywords. So keywords would be name, and then this title here is like the job description. Okay, so not fantastic, but okay. Gets us going. When we get to Sales Navigator, however, now suddenly the world opens up dramatically. Now I'm going to get rid of this content. I just wanted to show you the comparison to get started. And you'll see when you land on Sales Navigator, this is obviously what you're going to see. And typically we will start off under the lead filters, which are the people. So whenever I'm doing search, my first criteria is I want to see how big the market is. So just before I get, let me just show you. You can see they group these filters under categories. So the company filter is very similar to some of the stuff that goes on with the company. So whether it's an employee or somebody that owns the company, it'll give you information related to that company, right? So the name of the company, potentially the size of the company by head count, the company type, which often is not important, and the location, which for us would typically be South Africa, right? Come back to that just now. The role-based, these are probably the most important ones. This relates to the role that individual, the lead, currently fulfills. So there's a bunch of potential criteria that it gives us, and these are the most valuable. So I'll run through them in just a second. Then we've got the personal filters, which again relate to the individuals. Some of these are more important than others. I'll run through the important ones. So on the left-hand side, this typically tends to be the stuff that allows you to find the type of person that you're looking for. The right-hand side adds quite a lot of functionality. There's a lot of stuff here that you just will not have on the normal LinkedIn. Most of us are not going to use the following your company because it's rather ineffectual for smaller companies. People who viewed your profile recently, that could be useful. LinkedIn does give you kind of that information. There's the vesting path with connections and things. I'll explain this to you. So some of the stuff is important. And then probably the key filter is this one here, posted on LinkedIn in the last 30 days. So people who've changed jobs, that's a 90-day filter. So if I click that, because I haven't specified anything, this is looking at the total LinkedIn database. 9 million people changed jobs in the last 90 days on LinkedIn. How many people posted on LinkedIn in the last 30 days? Probably 21 million. So not a great deal. So you want to post, you have a lot of advantage, right? Out of the 1.2 billion, very small percentage are actually posting. But this is the important part. I'll come back and talk about this in just a bit. Down here is workflow stuff, which you may or may not get into. So I'll get to that if we get there. But let's get you into the meat of it. So you start a search. This is what you have. So for me, the first thing that I want to do is I always want to get to the geography. And the reason is I want to know how big is the market I'm dealing with. So for most of us, again, that would be South Africa. It could be anything. So before I'll show you this, you'll see here, there's two options, right? There's a regional option and there's a postal code option. So if I click this thing, things change a little bit. So regional basically is what you would be used to on LinkedIn. So you can do like the continents, like literally. So countries, then you can break them down. So South Africa, then it could be, provincial. So, Western Cape or Gauteng. No, I don't want that. I want the Johannesburg Metropole. No, I don't want that. I want Johannesburg. No, I don't want that. I want Edinburgh. Right? So that's what this regional filter does for you. And then postal code is a lot more precise. Right? It's like putting a postal code in. So I used to be in Edinburgh, which was 1609. Apparently, according to LinkedIn. So if I click on that, what it's going to do is it's going to say, okay, subject to all of these other filters that I have chosen and subject to the radius that I choose. So at the moment, it's 8 kilometers. So it's telling me that there are 270,000 results of people who are within a 5-kilometer radius or 8-kilometer radius of this postal code. Okay. It's not the most accurate thing you've ever seen, but it gives you a fair indication. So postal code is when you need to be very close to people where there's proximity. Most of us don't care. So we're not going to do Brakpan. We're going to stay with the regional stuff and we'll go to South Africa. But if you did need to, you could. So you can include or exclude, right? So remember when we spoke about Boolean searches? Now we had the not search. Excluding is like the not search. But we're going to include South Africa. So I could say include South Africa, but I don't want Limpopo. Okay, I have a problem with Limpopo. So everyone in South Africa except Limpopo, and you'll see it'll make a very small adjustment. If I had said not not Western Cape, for example, then if I exclude that, then you'll see this number will come down a little bit more significant. Right, so same sort of idea that I taught you with Boolean, it's kind of baked into the filters here, but we're not going to use it for now. We're just going to go with good old South Africa. So start with your geography, whatever that happens to be for you, right? And if you can work internationally, well, then so what? But clearly, English-speaking countries that are on your time zone are probably a better bet than Australia, for example. I can't deal with Australia and New Zealand because the time zone is too diabolical. We just like there's literally an hour a day you can talk to them. Otherwise, it's a disaster. So take those things into account. So that's what we're going to start with. So as you can see, when we choose South Africa, it then populates a number up top right. So it says 13 million because LinkedIn never tells you exactly. So we know then that there are 13 to 14 million people in South Africa who are on LinkedIn that have registered a LinkedIn account. Okay, so that's for most of us. That's typically what we're going to work with. The next filter, just while we're down here, is industry. Now the industry filters is a really interesting one. So let me show you what I mean. If I go in and let's just stick with accountant as an example. So if I start typing, and as you see, as you start typing, it starts to sort of populate the list. Now, the thing that you select has to be on this list, right? You can't go make up your own shit. So if accounting wasn't, I wouldn't be able to select it as it is. Now I can. So now watch what happens. If I click accounting up here, my 13 million is going to obviously go down significantly. So allegedly, we have 190,000 results. So there are 190,000 people in South Africa on LinkedIn that are in the accounting industry. Does that mean they're accountants? No, it doesn't actually. They could be bookkeepers. They could be people working for accounting companies. They could be people in fintech. There were all sorts of strange shit. So this industry filter, you remember when we were talking about Boolean, and I said if you type something into the search box up here, it's like a very broad search. That's kind of what this is, this industry. It's like the broadest search you can have within the industry. So it tends to not be particularly good. But if you're going into a new industry, if you start there, like I said to you all of these the algorithms that are created for all of the different search engines, they are quite intelligent, and so they will put the logical stuff first. But you'll see as you get deeper and deeper into the search, you start to get a lot of like rubbish or stuff that just doesn't mix right. Now, if I just take this first person, if I'm now looking for somebody who's an accountant in an accounting practice, and I see this first person is an enterprise resources planning implementation consultant, like how is that part of accounting? You ask yourself. You're starting to see the difficulty. Now, it might be that she used to be in accounting before, then she changed to consulting, but she changed her job description, but she didn't change her industry. So that's another inherent problem with industry. It's not always that accurate. Okay. And another thing, and I don't remember if I told you this, but up until LinkedIn had about 830 million users, there were only 147 industries that you could choose. Now there's a whole lot more. And they never went back to the original industries. So accounting was on the original list, right? So that's okay. So sometimes when you're searching for something, you get very excited because there's a filter, but you're actually missing out on quite a lot of people, because LinkedIn now has to apply AI to try to guess whether that person's a good fit, because that person didn't actually select that particular industry. The other small problem with industry, and this might be this chick, for example, right, is that you have to select an industry on your profile, and you can only select one. So maybe she is in enterprise resource planning, but she's the accountant there. So technically she is in accounting, but actually which industry is she in? Is she in consulting or is she in accounting, right? Then you're gonna have that problem often. So you need to just be aware of this. So I personally am not a great fan of the industry filter, but it's there. Now, if I go into a new industry that I don't know, then I will put it on, and then I will start to go through the profiles, and I'll start to get a sense of who's here. Okay, consultants, more consultants, managing advisory transactions. That's fine. Momentum, so equity analyst. Now remember when we spoke about Brilliant, right? So let's say I don't want what don't I want? I don't want consulting, right? So let's try and consulting, or I can either do it here. So I can say consulting. Just you can see thousands of daily consultants, and I could just exclude them. Or I could go up here, right? So instead of doing that, I go up here and we do the Boolean. So remember, it's not, and then I'll open my brackets and I'll say consulting. So not consulting. I don't. The reason I'm opening brackets is so I can add to it, right? So let's see. I've got 190,000. If I put that in, what does that do to my 190,000? Should reduce it a bit. I'll reduce it by 10,000, right? I don't want enterprise resource planning. Let's get rid of her. I don't know if she's a one-off, so I'll say or, remember, in caps, and then because it's a few words, I'm going to put it in inverted commas. There we go, and let's see if that may or may not make a difference, because it's like an arbitrary term. No, it doesn't. But I can keep going on, so I can get rid of equity analysts, etc. And this is how you build out the Boolean search. Right? Hopefully, this is illustrating to you that industries was a tough option. So typically, I don't tend to go there. So let's get rid of this, and let's get rid of accounting just for the moment. Okay, so we're back to our 1.3 million. While we're here, let's just look at some of the other stuff that we've got. Obviously, a first name or a last name is if you're looking for a specific person. Profile language, we've already discovered, is useless. Years of experience, an interesting one. So the way that LinkedIn will show this to you are in these bands. Okay, so you've got less than a year, 1 to 2 years, 3 to 5, 6 to 10, and more than 10. Now, the reason that this is significant for most of us is that you need to think about your ideal client, right? If you are dealing with somebody with less than a year's experience, they've typically got lots of problems. One of them is financial, right, because they're just starting out. So they often can't afford stuff. 1 to 2 years, different. Somebody who's got more than 10 years has very different demands on their time to someone who's been in business for less than a year. They're doing different things, they're worried about all sorts of different stuff. So you can make quite good assumptions about the people in the band. You can make assumptions about all of them very differently. And this helps you a lot when you target it, right? Now, what I want to show you is that this years of experience shows up in 3 ways. So this first one here, which is under the personal, this is where they're looking at the total years of experience that the person has. So when you put your first job description down, whatever that date is, even if it was a VAC job, doesn't matter. That's the date that it starts ticking. Okay. Then as we go up here a little bit and we get to the role-based filters, right? So this is now where you're currently working. You'll see there's 2 others. And they're exactly the same, right? The same bands that you have. But you have how long have you been in the current company, and then how long have you been in your current position in that company? And again, same bands, right? So if you go down here, this might say that, oh, this person has been working for 20 years. However, they've been at the current company for 5, and they've been in their current position for 1. Okay. You guys need to think that through as to what that means for you. Typically, a lot of us want to deal with businesses that are established. So you might start here and say, okay, give me people that have at least been around the block for 6 to 10 years or more. But then what you can do is now you can come down to the company filter and say, okay, because typically people that are relatively new have they're more inexperienced, right? They often need more skills and services. So you've got to think about that. And then this is where it starts to make sense. So you've already, if I said more than 10, you'll see now this is going to bring this down quite a bit. Now down to 1 million people, right? So there's a lot of inexperienced people on LinkedIn. If I want the guys that have been around the block, and now I can go and say, okay, let me find people that either have been in their current company or maybe in their current position for less than a year, for example. Okay, so these are experienced people, but there's 69,000 of them that have just started relatively recently in their new job or their new business. So again, these sorts of filters are not obvious, but these let you think outside the box and think about who your ideal client is, and then you could get to use them in a way that that you can find the right people that you're looking for. Okay, so these are really cool filters to use when you have it fairly clearly defined. And typically what I'll do with these filters is I'll do one of these searches. So I'll do less than a year, and then I'll write a campaign. Then I'll finish for those people, and then I'll look for 1 to 2 years, 3 to 5, etc. Because I can make different assumptions. I can write different messages and write different campaigns. All of this stuff really helps you to be more direct in your targeting. The better your targeting, the better your messaging will be, the more likely people are to respond to accept your connection request. So this whole ecosystem plays very nicely together. Right. So this is personal. The other thing, so we spoke about groups before. You'll remember when we spoke about LinkedIn. In order to find people in groups, you have to be a member of that group already. That's the only downside. So if I look for marketing for accountants, I've joined a number of those groups. Right, so now as I do that, it should bring up, I must have spelled something wrong. Yeah. Really? Again, this is one of these things where you start typing, there you go. So these would be groups that I'm actually members of for accountants and attorneys, the UK accountants in practice, etc., etc. If I wasn't, they wouldn't be shown. So these are all groups that I am a member of that happen to have the word marketing in the title. And then, of course, if I'm looking for accountants, let's say I'm looking for UK-based, as I'm in South Africa, I guess not. Let's just say marketing for accountants. So I click on that, and now we will see that there's all of 10 results because I've asked for the people that are in South Africa. If I get rid of South Africa, and I'll see the total number of people. Actually, there's 2,000 people in this group in total, but only 10 in South Africa. Okay. So this is kind of the short code if you're a member of a group. Okay. So that can be quite useful sometimes. To be using that. Right. School again. People that have gone to the same university. A subtlety, obviously. If somebody's gone to university, they probably have a degree. You can make a lot of assumptions about people that have degrees versus people that don't. Okay, so that might be why you use this. Again, just take that for what it's worth. For some of us, that's more important than for others, but that's how you would typically use this. Or the other way, which doesn't happen a lot, is that, let's say I don't know, I want doctors, right? I would know that doctors probably went to school. So if I type in, no, in fact, they're not even going to give that to me. If there was a particular institution that dealt with the specific people that I'm looking for, and they had a page, I would be able to find that, and I could find the people. But it's not something that we often do. So yeah, if you want to reach out to all people that were at the same university as you, it gives you something to say in your connection, because that's how you find them. I don't find this is filter we use very often. Groups, yes. Years of experience, yes. Geography, always. Industry, maybe. Okay, because of the issues that I've told you. Right. The one that you're going to use every time for sure, the most, is going to be the role-based. Right? What are these people doing at the moment? And the first thing we have is function. Typically, this one is also quite cock, if I'm honest. So this function here, if I click on it, you will see again, this is an exhaustive list. Okay? If it's not on this list, you cannot tick it. So what LinkedIn is saying, based on all of these potential industries down here, all right, whatever they happen to be, these are the typical job functions that they have categorized will be applicable to any industry. So accounting, operations, sales, etc. For most of us, this really is a rubbish filter, because there's so many other options. But if you need a specific person in a specific function, Tobacco, you maybe, the rest of you don't think so. Unlikely you're going to use this, right? They're better filters than this one, but that's what it does if you need it. The world champion of filters is this one, the current job title. So you remember when I spoke to you about when we created the experience section, and I said to you that when you go down here, this description that you put in, this is the thing that people are going to search for, and when they search for it, it searches from this box and this box only. I told you most people are not very creative, so if I want accountants, they will tell me I'm an accountant, or I'm an accountant at, or accountant that such and such a practice, right? This is this filter. This is the job title filter, right? This is the one everybody uses. It is the most accurate filter on all of LinkedIn, because the user fills it in themselves and they tell you exactly who they are. Okay, so this is the filter I use with Outfeld every time as well. So if I type in the word accountant, again, I've got all sorts of choices, but let's see, in my 13 million, if I type in accountant here, as opposed to accounting industry, where I think we had 190, I've got 33,000 results of people who in their job title have claimed to be accountants. There's more than 33,000. It's just for this particular filter. But these people, these 33,000 people, have self-identified and call themselves accountants. Right? There's no confusion there. That is what they have said they are. Right? So that is one of the great ways we can find it. That being said, the next thing that we're probably going to look at is seniority level. Okay? So seniority level is, think of it as a hierarchy and a chain of command. From LinkedIn's perspective, and probably from our perspective, the top of that chain is actually going to be the people that own the company. So if you look at it, it's actually these guys, the owners and the partners, right? They're really the top dogs as far as we are concerned. Then you might have directors, you'll have CXO, these are C-level executives. So anything that's chief in the title. Chief Executive Officer, Chief Operating Officer, Chief Financial Officer. That's them. Vice President, don't use that. It's an American term, confuses the shit out of South Africans. Leave it the hell alone. And then you'll see there's some other things like strategic. What does that mean? I have no idea. It's a new thing. Someone must call themselves strategic, but what does it really mean for us? I don't know. Maybe Andre and Montebaker can try strategic. The rest of us, I'd leave that thing well alone. It's too confusing. And they're better results. And then for managers, you can see also they've split it into an experienced manager and an entry-level manager. So you get to play around with these and decide what works for you. So for most of us, like if I was looking for an accountant, so if I choose, I'd start with owner and partner, right? Because that's what most of them will call themselves, and you'll see, 14 results. I've got 14 results. It's not possible. Seriously, that's not possible. Let me see if I've selected anything else. No. I need to do that again. I do not believe that. Sales Navigator. Wow, this is so weird. That is very unlikely. Okay. All right, they have 14 results. Very difficult to believe that that is so. But be that as it may, now these are people that call themselves owners or partners. But I also know that people who are accountants are directors, right? So they'll call themselves directors if they're in the company. They might be CEOs. Yeah, that would be it. This result is impossible. This should be way higher than, I don't know what's happening today with Sales Navigator. Okay. So
Looks like they've got, instead of listing all of them, but listing like there, it's accountant and he's a director. They're also an accountant and a director. They're not accepting.
it should be either
Yeah.
or. Even I'm just telling you this result is too something is a little bit off here. I'm not sure what it is, but regardless, this is how you use it. There should be more. So I might need to change accountant to auditor as well. So if I add in auditor, then maybe there'll be a few more. The more people that are auditors or partners. They must be fiddling with this at the moment with the definitions. But this is a little bit off from what it normally is, which is quite interesting. But you can see, again, maybe I'll have a bookkeeper, right? Add bookkeepers in. You'll see this will increase a little bit more, and so it goes on. So you can really manipulate these filters to find exactly who it is that you're looking for. Job title is by far, the most important one. So maybe they're not calling themselves these things. So if I get rid of all of this, right, and let's go back down just for fun. So now if we go to industry and let's try accounting again. So now we've got accounting in South Africa. And so now we've got There's no leads, but there's 7,000. I don't know what's going on with Sales Navigator. Come on, man. Thanks. It's playing up today for whatever reason, but so there we can see we've got 7,000 people who are owners, partners, directors in the accounting industry. So sometimes you would start there, right? Before and you can see if you click this button, you just get to see a little bit more space. So if we look at Jennifer here, there's a couple of things we know about Jennifer, right? We know that she's got this little golden badge next to her name. What that signifies is that she is a premium LinkedIn member, which means she's either paying for or has a free trial of one of the products. It can be LinkedIn Premium, it can be Sales Navigator, it can be the job stuff. It really doesn't matter. So I can see there's her job title, right? She's the Chief Executive Officer. She's a chartered accountant, right? So I've asked for owners. So there's this company, Morara Incorporated. So if I hover over it, now it's going to tell me a little bit about it. So I can see that this company is in Pietermaritzburg. I can see it's got 35 employees, and it's the leading owned and managed national provincial services firm at private level B1 contributor. Okay, so I know quite a lot about her. I'm still not quite sure if she's if it's an accounting firm. It is probably a professional services firm. I don't know. But what I do know is that she's been in that position for 2 years and 8 months, while she's been in the company for 15 years. Okay, and if I click on this, this is the about section. It's going to show me 2 lines. So let's see if there's anything here. So for gathering performance records, driving radical growth, and for influence and elevating major incorporated incorporated into the next frontier. As a chief executive director, incorporated, she's highly inspired, energized, motivated. What a load of shit! Like, you know now what a load of crap that is. Like, what does she do? I don't know, right? Awful. Be that as it may. We have 106 connections in common. That's a lot of connections, right? So in the accounting industry, there's probably quite a bit going on there, right? The fact that we've got 106 people in common means there must be some commonality there, right? Now, if I click on this, because I see there's 2 LinkedIn posts, she wrote one that's a heartfelt thank you to somebody, and then if you missed last night's recap, whatever it is. So without looking, I'm not sure, but she's active because she's posting on LinkedIn. I also know she's active because she's paying for something. And if I click on her name, I get this little sidebar that pops up, and now I can actually see the whole profile without leaving this interface, right? If I open this in a new tab or I click on it, then it takes me out. But now I can have a look. So let's see. So helping businesses maximize their performance to achieve scalable results. Okay, so at least her headline is a little bit more informative. I see she's at this place. Again, if I wanted to see more now on her about section, now I can actually open it up and see the whole thing. Right. Calculated risk taker, deep financial industry knowledge, blah, blah, blah. Computer, okay, still telling me nothing. See how boring this is? It tells me nothing about this one. I'm trying hard. I have nothing, right? Let's see what else we've got here. So we know that there's a bunch of others here. Some of them. If I clicked on this, it would show me all the people that we're connected with. Recent activity. So if I want to do now, I could go into the posts, and then getting to experience section, I could look at that. Okay, so this is the long way around, because sometimes you need to know. So at this stage, I still don't know if I should connect with Jennifer. Is she an ideal client for me or not? I don't know, because the profile is so bad. Didn't tell me. Good news is it's not normally as bad as that. Let's try Heidi, right? Sorry, Kumari here. So she's head of processing at Sunbet. Sunbet is a gambling facility in Casino. Welcome to the home of online betting. So she's definitely not, if I was looking for somebody in the accounting industry who needs clients, she's not it. Clearly, I can see that. But again, I can I can go and have a look at anything. I can see the mutual connections and so on and so forth, right? So this is kind of the power. Like once you've done a search, is you can really dig into it and you can look a little bit more. Okay. So this is why I do not love industry. I would much rather, instead of doing that, right, I would rather go up here and type account. Right? That's going to give me much better results. And it's probably going to be more than 14. Let's have a guess, right? So that's why that 14 is just blows my mind. It's wrong. So there's 11,000 people that somewhere on their profile the word accountant appears, right? They are also an owner, partner, director, or C-level executive in South Africa of the company. So again, I might have to go through this, right? So you can see Director Stadler and Stadler. Are they stationary? No, they're not. They are initial practical experience in accounting and tax. Oh, decided world of audit. So this person looks like they would be an ideal client for me. I do have 2 mutual connections. They're on LinkedIn. All is good. Okay. So this is another way to do it. And I could also say, or, and then I'm going to put that in caps, accounting. Instead of accountant, let's see, do I get a few more? I do. So you see how you get to use all of the stuff I taught you before, plus this is just like when you add all these things into what you already have, this thing just becomes extraordinarily powerful. Right, I'm going to do that just for the moment. I guess get back to my 280,000 people. Now, the next thing that you're going to do, let's assume you've selected here. So let's go. You know what? Let's actually leave this. Give me enough people to work with. Okay, so let's assume I'm going with that, right? So now getting back here, if I'm looking for someone that used to be an accountant, I would type this. This doesn't often have application, but sometimes in unique circumstances it does. If you're trying to find somebody that used to be in accounting, but has now moved into something else. For us, none of us, I don't think any of us, that's going to be useful. And then we've spoken about the years in the current company, right? The next thing is coming up to company. The headcount typically tends to be quite useful to us. So again, that's the split that LinkedIn makes. So people that call themselves self-employed, people that have 1 to 10 employees, 11 to 50, 51 to 200, 200 and 1 to 500, all the way up to 10,000 plus. Right? Now, for most of us, well, not tobacco side, actually, the rest of us, we're probably going to play in the self-employed to the 11 to 50. Most of us are going to be very happy in that space. Well, tobacco can play anyway. It's different product, different. But for most people, that's what you're going to do. And you need to think about it, right? Like for most of us, like if they've got 10,000 employees, they've got people that do what we do typically, right? You got to think about all of those things, because when you're using the filters and you're trying to find the people that you want to speak to and to connect to, you're always trying to stack the deck in your favor, right? So you're making assumptions about your ideal clients because you know them well and saying, okay, how can I use the filters to give myself the best chance of finding those people? Okay, that's really what you're trying to do here. So company headcount is good. So if I want self-employed and maybe let's see, what do we get there? 4,000. If I add in 1 to 10, now I've got another. I've got 11,000. So that's quite a lot of results already. Now, something to bear in mind, and this is something that you want to do always probably, is that if I was doing the search, I wouldn't actually add them both in, right? Because somebody who's self-employed, I know a little bit. I can make assumptions about them, and they're different to somebody who's got 1 to 10 employees, who are different again to somebody who's got 11 to 50. So when I'm doing a campaign, I do one at a time, right? So I only do self-employed, and then I go and I nail the shit out of this list, and I do what I need to do. Then I go and I say, okay, now let's get rid of self-employed and go 1 to 10. And now I have a new list, right? Write new message, new application, make new assumptions, and now I talk to this list. Because then I can judge, well, who are my best clients? Are they the absolute newbies? Or are they the people 1 to 10, etc., etc., right? So just remember that as almost as a rule. When you're changing stuff, only change one filter at a time. That gives you a chance to see whether something is working or not. But let's just say we go with those two. In fact, I'm going to go with 3, just so I've got some numbers. So again, like this would typically be quite a good search for me, right? So I'm looking for people with decision-making ability in South Africa who have got this in their title, and are looking at relatively small companies, right? So I've got 15,000 results, still too many, okay? But I ain't done yet. Now I'm moving to the right-hand side, okay? So again, you can see 18 of these people follow my company, if you do. Following companies, not a big deal. 7 of them have viewed my profile recently. That might be interesting. So let's see who. Modern, so I've spoken to her, Sally. And I haven't prospected into South Africa for a while. I'm prospecting into the UK. So these are quite interesting to see who would have. Carol, understanding, Docker, yes. So a few people here that might say, wonder why they viewed my profile. Maybe I should go and strike up a bit of a conversation with them or send them a connection request. Okay. So that is viewed your profile. Again, use it, don't use it. This one, however, is very important, right? So the first thing is connection. Okay. So I think we did have this discussion before, but let me have it again, because on Sales Navigator, even more important. You can obviously send connection requests, 2nd and 3rd degree connections. Your network, as LinkedIn defines it, consists of, exactly as you see it here, 1st degree, 2nd degree, 3rd degree, and group members, as long as you've been a member for 4 days or more. Now, the 1st level connections we already have, right? We are trying to find prospects, so we're not going to select them typically, unless we need them for a specific reason. So you want to always start with 2nd. Okay. The reason you want to start with 2nd is because by implication, as you can see with all of these, this guy here, Joshua, we have 15 1st level connections in common. I've got 40 1st level connections in common with Rayno. With this guy, 2. Right? And so it goes on. The point is, there is somebody that connects us together. So, and think even from your own perspective, when you receive a connection request from somebody who's a 2nd or a 3rd level, the connection acceptance rate for 2nd levels is so much higher than 3rd level. The 3rd level is like a Hail Mary. It's like the person that's receiving the connection request can't place you. The only thing they got to go on is your LinkedIn profile. But it's like, who are you? Like, you know anyone else I know? Are you in my circles? I don't know. It just creates so much uncertainty. So my best suggestion for you, always try to connect with 2nd degree connections, right? They are always going to be your best. If you're starting and you don't have a lot of connections, start with 3rd. But 2nd degree grows very quickly, right? And the reason it grows very quickly is because as soon as I connect, let's say I connect with old Joshua, right? Then all of his 2nd degree connections, or sorry, all of his 1st degree connections now get added to my 2nd degree. So tomorrow when I do the search, just because I've connected with Joshua, suddenly I've got 16,500, not 16,000. It goes like the wind. And if you're niching, like I am here, because I'm speaking to accountants, right? It becomes extremely powerful because accountants connect with other accountants. So the network grows very quickly and exponentially. Okay. Try to stay away from 3rd if you can avoid it. Group members use, if you're targeting specifically in 1st, you typically want to use, right? So now I'm down to 16,000, but it's still too many. Okay. Now I'm going to come back to connections in a minute because that's kind of cool. And I want to just go down here and show you these are the 2 main filters. So the first one is, as we spoke about before, of these 16,000 people, 464 of them changed jobs recently. Is that a trigger for me? Well, yeah, if you are in a company where your accounting role requires you to do client acquisition, then yeah. And if you've just become a partner, or you've just started your own accounting firm or your own consulting firm, you might well be looking for leads, and you're a good person to speak to. Okay, so this can be an amazing filter, and you know the outreach is, hey, I see like this dude, Legrand over here, Grand. I can speak to him and say, hey, I see you just started a new role at Multivest Accounting. Congratulations. How's it going? Let's connect. It's like, it's not even a rocket science connection request. It's like, I noticed, I pulled out an observation, and actually I could say that to all these people, right? We said if you do a search, I know all of these people changed jobs in the last 90 days. You can write a message that speaks to that. I can pull the data down. I didn't go into the automation. The automation tool can pull a lot of this information. So I could reference the actual company. I can reference how long he's been there, all of those things. But for now, this is what you've got. So change jobs is important. Now, the other thing about change jobs is this is a 90-day filter, right? So when somebody changes a job, if they go onto LinkedIn and they update their profile, right, that means that LinkedIn is important to them. The chances are, if you bother to go in and update your job change status, you are active. So this is an activity indicator, as well as a potential trigger, depending on the type of business that we're in. Okay, so that's those dudes. This is the golden filter on LinkedIn, always. Right? A lot of people pay for Sales Navigator just for this filter here. These are people that posted on LinkedIn in the last 30 days. Okay, Neo over here had 2 posts. Actually, Neo might have had more posts. They're just showing me the last 2. So Neo is the Director of Accounting Services at TSC Accounting. I've got 30 connections in common. We're in some shared groups together, and he's posted twice. Do you think Neo might be a good prospect for me? Maybe. I think so. Okay. Again, I can have a look at his posts. Over the budget. So he's posting taxi accounting stuff, right? So he would be a good prospect. Now, one of the reasons he's a good prospect is not just because he's active, and I know this because he's posted in the last 30 days, but later on, when I want to start talking to him, guess what I can do? I'm going to his post and say, hey, I saw your post on the budget, you know, and I kind of like your take on this, and this. And then I start a conversation with him. Right? Just a normal conversation like normal people have. What do you think is actually going to happen with the budget? Are they ever going to publish this freaking thing? You think that the kids are going to play nicely so that we can actually have a budget at some point? And he'll get involved in that because that's what he does. And then I'm in the conversation, and then I take it wherever I want. That's the goal of this whole process, right? So this filter tells you they're active, and it gives you information about them, because now you can go and see what's important to them, because that's the shit that they post. You can talk about the stuff that they post. It's a very easy way to start a conversation. Right? Most people's posts, and I'll bet you. So let's just show you. He posted this a week ago. You know what? Let me just do this. I don't want to mess up the search. But while I'm here, actually, this is also a good learning for you. I'm in Sales Navigator, right? Look at this horrible URL. This is his URL. Now, this is because LinkedIn has got one database, 1.2 million people, 1.2 billion people, 13 to 14 million in South Africa. They have this free product called LinkedIn, which is the one they give us for free. And they have this completely separate product, although it looks similar and it pulls information on the same database, but it's a completely different product, Sales Navigator, right? So what I really need to do is to go and view his profile on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is the sexy profile we know, and this is the thing that we used to see, right? This is Sales Navigator, is designed for sales. a different outlook, different look. I hate Sales Navigator. I don't like this interface. Personal thing. It's just me. But it's got different information if you want. So I'm going to open him and I'm going to go to LinkedIn. So now let's go and have a look at his posts. So he says, everyone will have their own opinion on the budget. The focus will be on the VAT changes. The initial 0.5% increase is still significant. It'll have an impact on small business, especially complementary registration threshold remaining at 1 million. Okay. So I've got lots of things I can talk to him about this. Now you can see he's got people that have commented on it. Somebody's reposted, but not a lot. Okay. This one did quite well. I actually got 49 reactions and some comments, which is interesting. What did he say? Prospect economy for help with his tax returns earlier this week. And when he last filed, he laughed. Which told me everything. Okay, so interesting, right? So you're getting a sense. So if I was like a fellow accountant, these are all the people that are relating to him. I'm going to steal these people because like they like accounting and particularly tax. So I know you're listening. This is how you do this shit, right? As we said. But most people don't get a lot of comments. Okay, so he's actually a little bit of an exception. So most people are going to look like this. So if you just go and like it and comment, he will see you. I promise he will see you. He will know who you are if you go and do that. Right. So this is the golden filter for all of those reasons, and you can get a lot of information as we've said from this. So you can see of the guys that posted on LinkedIn, 229 of them are active. Changed jobs in the last the last 90 days. So if I click on that, now I've got both of them. Now I know these guys are active without question and they've changed jobs. Okay. So you see how you get to stack this stuff on top of one another. So you can stay to your heart's content with this stuff. Obviously the more filters we add, now we're down to 231 results, right? We're getting less and less. So the point comes where you've got to stop this shit, or you've got to broaden your base. But if you're looking for very targeted people, you can see how you can find it. And the Boolean search is like this is the key, man. Because you can set the basic parameters, and then you can do all those cool things that I showed you a few weeks ago. You know, where you're looking at like people that are interested in Zero, or that are members of Psycho, or whatever the case may be. It just keeps giving you new people that fit the criteria of your filters, which are your ICP. So that was like we did in the very first session with your ideal client. This is why. This is the end. That was the beginning, and that's why all of that stuff that we did was so important as it stacks. Now you hopefully see how everything that really fits together. One last thing I want to show you, and I will just go into a new Sales Navigator. Let's just do this one. 14 results. You are joking. Doesn't even matter. So one of the things that we can do, actually, let me put South Africa back. And what I'm about to show you is very cool. You can do this on LinkedIn as well. I might have actually shown this to you, but you have under the sorry, up here, under the best in path, you have the connections of. Okay, so let's go and see who shall we do. Let's do Bella. Right, so as I type it in, it has to be a first level connection on mine, otherwise I can't see it. Okay. Now there she is, so I'm going to click on her, and what it's going to show me is that there are 233 results. So technically that should mean you have 233 connections, right? So it's showing me all of your connections. Now, if the other one was a great client of mine, and knowing that she's in the industry that I'm targeting, okay, this would be a great way to shortcut all of this shit I've just shown you, okay, or to use everything that I've just shown you. Because sometimes, like if you've connected with somebody and you like them and they work, we know that they're going to have connected to other people like them, right? So even if let's just do this. If I go and I use the Boolean, because I'm using the same search. So there's 12 people that are accountants, or if we go for keeper, right? So still 12, right? So these are people that she's connected with that are technically involved. This person we know, right? As you've seen, Bruce we know, also part of the group, etc. We know him too. Paul Sullivan, etc. Right. So this is kind of a really nice way when you're connected with people to find other people that are very similar and that are like them. I like to use this occasionally. It's a really cool way to go about doing it. All right. So that's how you use the connections of filter. It can be very, very useful. LinkedIn used to only show you 1,000. Now they show you everybody, which is quite exciting. You can, if you're anal, but you can go into your privacy settings and you can stop that from happening if you want to. I'm of the opinion, who cares? But some people, you can, so you know. Okay. I've spoken a lot now. I'm going to be quiet and give you a chance to ask questions because I've probably blown your brains to smithereens. Right. You may have at least one question. Otherwise, I'm really good or I've like stunned you into silence. I don't know which one it is.
I think I'm a bit stunned.
Okay, we'll start with Delvin while you get over your stunnigheid.
I'm just getting into Sales Navigator. And am I correct in that the Sales Navigator messaging is not the same as the LinkedIn messages?
You're right. You're very correct. So,
okay, so I am correct because I suddenly was going through my LinkedIn messages and replying to everyone, and then suddenly I saw, so we have to monitor both messengers systems to keep track of.
The best advice I can give you is to do what I did here with Neo. Is you go to Neo and then you open Neo in LinkedIn and you do everything in LinkedIn. Because if you ever cancel Sales Navigator, like you don't renew after your trial, you will lose every single piece of data that you have. Okay. And you'll see that under messaging there's a separate inbox. Now you have a Sales Navigator inbox, and you have a LinkedIn inbox, and you have an email inbox. Yes, no.
Okay, so
don't want that. So you're right. So don't do this shit. Rather just
I'll keep to the other one.
Yeah, and just stick on LinkedIn.
And then the other question is there any automation systems that come with Sales Navigator, or are they all add-ons separately?
No, they're all add-ons. It's actually against LinkedIn's terms of service to automate. So everything is external.
Okay.
Yeah. That doesn't mean we don't automate. Just it's against terms of service.
Okay, now that was my two questions because I'm enjoying the ability to downsize into small companies that have been because if they've only just opened up, then there's my niche. They must start their bookkeeping from day one to get everything right. And if they're sitting on the 2-year mark, then they're either about to go under or they're going to make twos. That's also another connection that I use often. So yeah.
So I'll give you my take on this, right? And
okay.
I'm speaking very generally. So anybody less than a year is like no. It's like it's a risk, right?
The recording has stopped.
We don't know if that's good or bad or indifferent. However, it's a startup. It could be. What I find is the first 2 years, right, in business, typically, and I see this across all of them because I coach lots of different people. Typically, first 2 years of business is just trying to work out how to deliver this damn product or service to my client. That's what it revolves around. It's not even about getting your own systems right. It's just about like, can I get enough money in to live and can I service my client? So 1 to 2 years often is the time that they will need you because they've screwed around with an Excel spreadsheet up until now, and it's just got to a point where it's like, okay, enough is enough. I need to sort this out. 3 to 5 years is kind of like a golden period in a way, because 3 to 5 years is like, okay, I think I've made, okay, I can do this business. Now I need to start getting systems in place and getting my shit together. That's when they, believe it or not, that's when they pay me for lead generation, because now there's money there. This might be when they're putting proper systems in, they're starting to buy stuff, etc. 60 years is like, now they've got through the, you know, the 80% of businesses fail in the first 5 years crap. Now these are the oaks that have made it. Now these guys now make a decision, typically, is to go to go home. It's like, okay, I like this, I'm ticking along, the business doing what I like, life's not too stressful, okay, let's carry on. Or no, hell no. I've got it this far, now I'm going to scale up, but Jesus, out of this thing. Now we need to take on more staff. Now we need more systems. Now we need insurance policies, capital investment, that sort of stuff. That's the mindset that's going on here. And then these oaks can be anything. I get that this one is just like lottery stuff, because it might be that they're established. It might be that they want to grow. It could be anything. So there's lots of assumptions you can make with all of these. For you, I would be jumping all over less than a year and 1 to 2, and I might even dabble with 3 to 5 if you have to. But these two would probably be prime for you.
Yeah, and I had
1 to 2, maybe even more than less than 1. Believe it or not.
Yeah. 2 appointments booked, Zoom meetings coming up next week. So yeah, exciting.
Good on you. See, shit works.
So
Well
yeah.
done. Yeah, well done. Fantastic.
So James, I have a question as well. How do we export from Sales Navigator all the contacts that you've connected with on Sales, on Sales Navigator? How do you export it onto Excel for future?
External tool. Sales Navigator is shot. What I will show you, let me show you something else quickly. Might be useful to you. So let's say I like this list of 131 people, right? First thing I can do is I can save it. Now, I might not be able to save this because I might be at my limit. Let me just check. Yeah, okay. Let me just quickly go into my leads list and delete something. Because I actually quite like this search. Not leads. Yeah, leads. Sorry. You can see I've played this game for many, many years. What are these things I need for some reason? I'm going to get rid of their tunes. I need them the least right now. Let's see what it is. Sorry, I think I need this so I can save this because I've got too many. So now if I save it, it'll tell me it's saved. You can save 40, and I've used them all clearly. So now if I go here, you will see it right at the top. So if I ever want to click on this again, I just click it and it opens. So now if I open it again, so let's say I'm in a I say I'm in a brand new Sales Navigator, right? And I say, okay, show me my saved searches. Then I say, show me these dudes. And they should now be the same because I haven't done anything. But obviously this now changes every day, so it's dynamic. And then I come in and now I've got it all. I say, okay, no, I don't want the guys that have changed jobs. Just show me all the guys on LinkedIn. Or maybe I want second and third, or I don't want partners. So you can mess around and play with it. Like a great thing is when you find a good search, like for me, for example, I might say, okay, this was a great search. So now instead of South Africa, now give it to me in the US, give it to me in Canada, blah blah blah. So really cool way to do things is to save, right? So let's say I like the search now, okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through this. Now remember we said that I've got 2,000 results, so I should be able to see them all because I've got 25 on a page. Okay. Let me show you this quickly, just because it makes sense. Now on Neo over here, I viewed him recently. Hang on, before I show you that, because I want to actually put him in my list. I can now go and add these people to a list. So what I can do is I can go through. Now, as I click on Neo, you'll see this activates up at the top, and it says to me I can save him to a list. So I like him. This person's a financial coach. Yeah, fine. We do principal partner at the Capital. Yes. Director Willow Accounting. Yes. Like this owner at yes. Managing Director Accounting. Yes. Director Coastal Accounting. Yes. Managing Director Accounting Solutions. Yes. Right. Financial Director 2 Stories. What's 2 Stories? Advertising. No. Managing Director Greater Heights Financial Solutions. Yes. Financial Director Neat Accounting. Yes. Yes. Head of FinTech. Head of Finance. Investment Management. No. Partner, go figure. Yes. Managing Director Viva Accounting Solutions. Yes. Head of Operations at Kula, which is staffing and recruiting. No. Precious Consulting. What type of consulting? Don't know. Let's say yeah. What is this? Accountant. Who would have thought? Lifestyle, rocket ship, wellness and fitness. No. Financial aid. What is this? Accounting. Someone who's doing business feels like don't really know. I have to look, so I'll pass him by for now. Independent accountant. No. Head of finance. No. Finance director. No. Director. No. Actually, yeah. Right. So I've gone through this page and I've got 25 people on the page, and just through a quick first glance, having a look at this, there's 16 people that I like. So I'm going to save these 16 people to a list. I'll create a new list, and I will call this 19th of the 3rd, 25. SA account. How I should name this list is based on all the filters, right? So SA accountants, second degree connections, posted 30 days, blah, 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 right? All the filters, so that when I look at the list, I know what's in the list. I don't have to like guess. And then I create the list. So now it's added, and you'll see it says here a list. Okay. Now, after I've added them, now I can go to page 2. And play that same game again, right? Now, if these were good, I could do this differently. I could select all, so I've got all 25 selected, and then I could go and say, okay, Chief Financial Officer, no, he's the wrong guy, and so on and so forth. Yes, she's good. Director Global Finance, yeah, probably. Managing Director Wealth Management, yes. Accounting and tax, yes, and so on and so forth. And then I could, when I get to the bottom of this, I get to the bottom, and then I would save them again. I would now save these two. So I'm not going, because I don't want to go through the process, waste your time as I look through this list. But you would keep creating the list, right? Then they sit up here. So if I go to leads and I open this list, you will see, so you'll see at the moment I'm actually prospecting in the UK, but here's today's list. There's 16 people, which is correct. That's what we put on. And if I open this, it now shows me quite a bit of information. So I know that there's a total of 16 people on this list. 3 of them changed jobs in the last 90 days. If I click on this, it'll show me which 3. 4 of them have shared experience. This is crap, because this can be part of the same group. It's like ineffectual, doesn't really tell you much. And I would be very disappointed as I put this in the filter if all 16 were not I had not posted on LinkedIn in the last 30 days. Right. So I have the name. Obviously, I can see that these are second-degree connections. They're on one list. Okay, if I put them on multiple lists, it would tell me so. This is the company page. So I know that the company has a page. I know where they are. I can make notes on it if I want to. I don't, because like I don't use this as a CRM. It's crap. But if you, depending on how you manage your list, you might want to make notes. I personally don't care. I have better ways to do that than this. There's no activity yet, right? I haven't sent them any messages, connection requests. If I had, it would have told me the date that I had. This is the date that I added it. I can do some other things. I could message them straight from here. If I did, this is bad, right? Because this is going to send messages in Sales Navigator, which I don't want to do. So I need to open Kevin first. And we can see that I would use one of my in-mail credits if I was going to message him. So I can message him, which I don't want to do. I can edit the associated account, that's the company account. I could connect, which I don't want to do. I could add him to another list or remove him from this list. Right. So this is kind of the way that you would run this. Now, imagine I dealt with 3 of these people. I could then come in and add a note and say, done. Right? That's, you're going to use a note, that's like the way to use it. So like when I come back in a week's time, I know that I've done these first few, but I still need to do Kevin. Like that's, if you're using Sales Navigator, and this might, and if you don't have other tools to get it out of Sales Navigator, maybe we can do a session on those tools because like very useful. This is kind of what you need to do, right? So again, I go back in here and I want them to be done. Hello, Kevin. No, you're telling me now I can't edit my note. Thanks.
I think you can. There's the 3 dots on the side.
Edit note. Thanks. Thanks, Kev. Sorry,
Then I just want to ask one more question. Can you connect with these people on Sales Navigator, and will it link it to your LinkedIn profile? Or is it all on Sales Navigator?
No, you can. So what will happen is if you connect, it sends the connection request on Sales Navigator. If they have a Sales Navigator, well, actually, no. If they reply, it comes back into Sales Navigator account. You don't always see the first message on LinkedIn if you send them a note on Sales Navigator in LinkedIn. So it's a little bit weird. I'm really not a big fan of connecting on Sales Navigator, but yeah, of course you can. But again, if you lose access to Sales Navigator, now you're screwed.
So you lose all your initial contacts.
You won't lose the contacts because they'll still be there on LinkedIn, but you won't have the communication. So if I've had this 20 message communication with you on Sales Navigator and my Sales Navigator is cancelled, like I've lost that. If I have it with you on LinkedIn, it's always there. That's the difference.
Thank you.
So best advice, don't message on Sales Navigators. It can do that, but it's not really what it's designed for. Well, if you're a sales team, that's different. We're not. The individuals is like this pain in my ass if we do.
You have done that. Is there any way to reverse it, or is it that for life?
No, it's that for life.
Okay.
But it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
you'll still have the connection, and other than that first message, you got it. So that's not a big train smash.
Okay.
Happy.
All right, so I'll leave it there. I've covered a lot of ground with you today, as you have seen. But the stuff's powerful. Eh? There's like so much stuff that you can do and get into here. It's incredible.
Then I just have one more question. The video link, will you just share it with Andre, because he's asked for it afterwards, please?
Yeah, he should have it. I'll stick it on the normal page that I put everything else on. But yeah, I'll let him know.
Thank you.
All right, cool. So let's just see. So there's some. Okay. So all our assistants giving me notes in the in the chat. There's no real chat. It's just our assistants are chatting on our behalf now.
Yeah. I try to cancel mine, but for some reason I don't know how to cancel mine. Once it's there, it's
It's fine. You got it, let it record. You've got the recording. It's all good. So, all right. Hopefully that gives you guys a really good insight. Yeah, go use it. Sales Navigator is the bomb. It's you can really hone in and do a lot of clever stuff with it.
Hi, James.
Yeah.
Yeah, just wanted to also just emphasize, the desire to see if there is any way one can build a list outside of Sales Navigator.
Sorry, I'm struggling to hear you. Can you adjust your mic or?
Hi. Is it a mic thing?
No, I'm still struggling.
Hi.
You'll have to shout.
Yeah. Okay. Let me work on the volume. How's that?
Ah, much better.
Yeah, sorry. It was the volume.
Okay,
Okay.
good.
Sorry about that. I think I just wanted to emphasize as well, the request to just assist building the list outside of Sales Navigator. Yeah. And then you had said something last time about automating messages. You were going to show us something there. So maybe we can pull the two together.
Yeah, it's the same tools for both.
Okay.
So,
All right. Okay. All right. Just to say that for me, I've just now I'm glad we had this session, particularly because I just now have come into the group space, and I wasn't sure how then, you harvest that. So I think after today, at least one can then go now because I've signed up for a few of those. I've joined a few of those. So and I saw that the ones I've joined now compared to the ones I was on previously, I mean the numbers, are bigger. So hopefully there's an opportunity there.
Yeah, so Sales Navigator really helps with the group thing because you can use the other filters to find. So let me show you this just in case this is not obvious. If you're on this, so if you're let's go find a group on. Actually, just go back here. So if I just stop again, it's so many of these. Let's actually stop 17,000 things on one. So if we go into our lead filters, and so let's say I stick with South Africa. And let's just go back and pull the same stuff with, sorry, not industry, marketing groups. So if I go back to marketing, so we had these groups. So let's go and find this group, marketing ideas for accountants and attorneys. Let's just see what we have. Okay, so we got 23 people, right? So if I go to LinkedIn, accountants and attorneys, there it is. And I go to groups. Now I'm in the group. So we can see in this group there are 1,442 members, right? And of course, if I show all, then I'm going to get to see all of them. I just have to scroll my arse off, and it's in whatever order they've deemed to put it there. So this is the way to deal with it here on LinkedIn, right? But obviously it's hard because it's all over the show. So now you would have reversed engineered this little process here on LinkedIn, right? And now we would have found these people. So let's say that Timber's your guy, and you want to speak to Timber, right? So now you can go back to the group, and we can search for Timber, and there he is. Now you could actually message, or I could message Timber, right? Because you get 15 free messages. So this is not a connection request. It's not an email. Because he's part of the same group, I can message him. But this was the way that I could find the right people on LinkedIn by reverse engineering it from Sales Navigator. Typically, though, it's much easier because we've got the 23 South Africans in this group, and now we talk to them. But there might be other reasons that you want them. I just use that as the example. But that's how you kind of traverse between the two, if it makes sense. But Sales Navigator just makes life so much easier because you can use all of the filters on the members of the group, whereas here, like, you're screwed. Like, sorry, like that's what you got. It's like you will scroll for days. It's just that the never-ending story. You'll just keep putting more and more people until it gets to the end. Right, as you can see. So this just goes for hours and hours and hours. It's like you'll drive yourself nuts going through this. So great from that perspective. But now with Sales Navigator, now we can be really targeted and find the exact people that we want. So yeah, just use Sales Navigator for that.
Right.
I'll have to see when we do the next session, probably be in a month's time or so. I just did this one because you guys wanted to. I'm a little bit pissed off with everybody else because I did you guys a big favor, then like half the people didn't come. So I'm a little grumpy about that, if I'm honest.
We thank you.
No, you guys are welcome. I'm not I'm venting at them, but it'd be nice if they would come, considering this was a special dispensation.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about automation, because that's kind of cool. So the automation tool does two things. It scrapes data. So like you were asking, how do we get the data out? It gets it out, and it sends messages. So it's actually a dual purpose little tool, which is kind of cool. So I'll do a little session on that for you guys.
Because for now, I'm just going back and going to last week's 8. So I look at the 11th and I go, okay, those are the messages I sent. What can I follow up on there? And then I go into my connection that haven't connected for that day, and I send them a message from there.
Yeah,
so
it's a real pain in the
that's
ass.
how I've been trying to market through that.
It's a pain
and I must say,
in
it
the
is
ass.
working. When you send them that second connection, I've been getting some very rude no's, one very rude no, but most of them are, oh yeah, I don't know if I need that, I'm not quite sure, I'm not sure what you're talking about.
It's quite unusual to get a rude no.
I think the world's having a bad day.
We get people that are having a bad day, and I mean, people are getting pitched more and more, obviously. So, but particularly when you send a really nice connection message like that one. I mean, I spoke to a guy today. He said the only reason I connected with you is because it looked like a human message. You know, so you're going to see that all the time. But don't worry about people that say no. It's part of the game. More people will say no than yes, and a lot of people by silence are saying no. It's what happens. But that's not what we. Well, we're not worried about them. We're just playing the numbers game, and we're trying to find the people that do want to deal with us, and then those are the ideal conversations to have. So,
no, you're going to have to continue following up on them. That's my
100%. And the automation does the work for you, which is kind of nice. But we will get
quite keen for that. Yeah.
Yes, very much.
All right, cool.
So thank you very much, James.
All right, guys, you're welcome.
Just one more thing.
Okay.
Just one. So the 1 month will be from the last meeting, right? Not this one.
I don't know. I need to actually. Well, I suppose now is as good a time as any to look. Hey, what did we do last week? Was the 12th?
It's on the 9th of April. Yeah.
Oh, I've already booked it. Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah, 9th of April. Yeah. I think did I book 3? I think I did.
Yeah, you did.
My plan was to book 3, and then I said we'll reassess. Yeah. Okay. So 9th of April. 9th of April, we'll show you cool automation hacks.
Okay.
Thank you,
James.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Good stuff. All right. So what you need for the 9th, then, if you want to activate and play, is you'll just need a credit card to activate. The tool costs $15. There's a 14-day trial, so you can play. your heart's content. But if you want to use it, it's the cheapest one I found and one of the most effective and one of the safest. I've been using it for I don't know how many years. It's $15.15. So you'll need a credit card to activate, even if you just use the trial and then download all your stuff and then buy it out.
Virtual credit card, then they can't.
So,
then by the time they want to do it, then the PIN has changed.
so well, whatever, as long as you got it. You'll find though, it's like one of those things that when you have it, it's like, I can't live without this.
Yeah.
It's I've got 3 or 4 tools that like. I was like, you know, it's like you look at it and there's like $15 here and $20 here, and it's like shit. And then you say, oh, but I can't cancel that. I can't cancel this, but I need this. You know, it's like I've got all these little $15 and $20, and they're all, especially ChatGPT. That thing is so insidious. Oh. But anyway.
Have you tried DeepSeek yet?
No, I haven't.
The worst of ChatGPT is the more you ask it to do, the more you want to do it, the more you need to use it, and it's like it spirals.
That's the whole point with it. Yeah, I mean, I started paying for it. No, I'll never go back to free. It's just like,
yeah,
I know that I'm screwed with that thing. It's just like that's $20 I'm paying every month. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But the amount of productivity I get out of it is just, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Do any of you guys know somebody that can build Chrome plugins? I need one.
My old office. I'll put my feeders out. I'll send you a message.
Yeah.
James.
Okay. And I don't know what if you knew, then that would be cool. But that's all good. All right. Lekker.
All right.
See you on the 9th.
Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome.
Thank you so
Cheers.
much.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.